It is the 17th of April. It is the second day of the salmon season in Denmark. I am fishing in the upper part of Skjern River. As you can see, the water level is high and the water is murky. It's a great thing because it's easier to get a take from a salmon simply by surprising it with a fly. I just took this salmon. It was standing in some turbulent water behind a small bush in the middle of the river. Further downstream I also have a couple of islands with some bushes on, and I don't want the salmon to go down there because it might go on the opposite side of that, and then I'll lose it. So I'll try to get it a little downstream from where I hooked it, so I can find it in a confined space. The method I use is to get down on the side of the fish and lift it up of the water. Lift it up into the water column, so to speak. By doing that, it's always trying to go opposite the pressure I put on it. So if I go downstream, it will move upstream, and if I move upstream, it will try to get downstream. Sometimes you can lure a salmon to go upstream if you lower the pressure. Fishing gear wise, I'm using a 8-weighted 2-handed rod. It's 12.5 foot long. I'm using 23 grams of shooting head. It is the Spey hybrid. It is a floating Sink 5.6 and a total liter Sink 7 and a weighted fry called Dirty Linda. I put a lot of pressure on the salmon right now. The clutch on my reel is set really hard. It can give the salmon some line, but it should really work for it. The reason I put so much pressure on a salmon when I fight it is because if I lose it, or I have to practice catch and release, it has a higher chance of surviving if it doesn't accumulate too much lactic acid. And if the fight is long, it will accumulate a lot of lactic acid, so we want to avoid that. So I fight pretty hard. There's a quota system in all the rivers going out to the North Sea. It's actually a protected species here in Denmark, but there is a quota on them, so if it isn't used, you may take one salmon home each year. And I think it's a good idea it's made that way, because it makes people care more about the species. So you can catch up to 15 salmon a season, catch and release, and but maximum 2 a day. And if there's quota, then you can take one with you home. At this point, I have a lot of adrenaline in my veins. I'll try to keep cool. I know I can lose a salmon at any moment, but I try to enjoy the fight because of that. So I don't worry too much about losing it. I just want to enjoy the fight. We have the barbs on our hooks should be squeezed down here in Denmark due to the catch and release program. I'd like to apologize for the noise when the equipment is hitting my camera. You might even be able to hear my heavy breathing. I try to keep my cool. Here I have a net. It's not a high quality net, but it's quite compact, so I like to walk around with it because it doesn't get stuck in bushes and so on when you walk to and from the fishing spot. At this speed, There's been at least one salmon angler over it, the water once. I talked to him when I arrived at the spot. It is in the middle of the day now. I don't live near the water system, so I have had a 2-hour travel to get here. So I don't fish early in the morning. Now the salmon is nearly ready to get into the nets, and this one I can take home because there is food on it and I haven't used it yet. It weighed 8.2 kilos and was 94 centimeters long. I hooked another small fish. I don't know if it's a sea trout or salmon, but I lose it after a short while. But the next fish I hook is a salmon around 9 kilos. At some point I think it was a sea trout, but it is a salmon. Now you're gonna see and hear a very enthusiastic Danish salmon angler.
God mand. Fedt. 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 Yes. Vildt. Flot. Fedt. Ja, det er godt. Så hvor er det fedt det her. Ej, hvor er det flot. Det er flot. Fedt. Det er bare ikke på det her med den havre, der vil have den der. hvad? Er det der?
At this point, I don't think too much about losing the fish, due to I have used my quota this year, and I'm just having fun fighting the fish. If I lose it, I lose it, and this one I actually lose due to that I try to back it down into the net. You should always have it head first. So here's a textbook example of what not to do. But I had a lot of fun with fighting it, and I hope to see it some other time.
Nå, det er fedt. Hold gang.
Here I have hooked the grills. It was 58 centimeters long. You can see the river is running through the meadows. Also this part is running through a forest. It's a really nice place to fish, away from the noise, just nature. Finally, for the first time, I hook a nice big male salmon. It is the last fish I hooked this season, and it's just beautiful. Again, the fly is dirty limber.